The work we're doing in the country on oil and gas, the projects are immense. So I'll try to summarize a bit of it, and specifically on the East African crude oil pipeline, but also update you on how it is benefiting Ugandans and how sustainable we are doing. But that would not make sense, because I need to first tell you why oil and gas? Why can't we do something else? Should we develop these resources? To understand that, you need to appreciate the global energy perspectives. And globally, when you think about global energy, over 80% of global energy is supplied from the oil and gas perspective. Over 80%. So when you talk about energy transition, you need to keep that in mind. Over 80% of global energy is from oil and gas. When we talk about renewables, nuclear, hydro, wind, solar, if you put all those things together, you are likely to raise 20%. And when we talk about global energy, I don't want to go there. The numbers are staggering. Now, to transport oil or gas, the most economic way to do it is by a pipeline. There is no other most economic way other than a pipeline. Where are the pipelines in this world? This mapping was just to give you a perspective that most of the pipelines in the world are in the US, they're in Europe, they're in Eurasia, and the South Americas. When you look at Africa, you'll see a few small things. And if you come to Uganda, you'll see nothing. Now, I'm trying to give you a picture of what it means when you talk about global energy and oil and gas. And these numbers, if you were to look at the global map of light and darkness, you'd still see the same thing. It goes the same way. That's why you'll hear people calling Africa the dark continent, because of energy, and energy drives development. So quickly, since we don't have a lot of time, the East African crude oil pipeline, or EACOP, is being developed to ensure that Uganda's oil resources can also be linked to the international market. Oil and gas is a global commodity. It's not something you can say, I'll develop it within Uganda only. We tried to do it. Our national oil and gas policy initially was purely produce the oil, refine it here, and distribute refined products. But it could not work because oil and gas are global commodities. You must link up with the international market. You need technology. We do not own refining technology. You have to buy it. You will access technology from the licensors. So these are some of the elements that drive investments. You need a lot of money to explore oil. You need a lot of money to develop infrastructure. The oil and gas fields in Uganda development is costing us over $8 billion. As a country, if you are to tell Uganda to develop the oil and gas resources, maybe you'll close the healthcare and education, and then you cease it to be an economy. The pipeline alone is stretching us beyond $4 billion. So when you add the numbers, you compare to your GDP, your national annual budget, then you begin to understand why we need the international community. So these are not things you can do alone as Uganda. After all, even the developed countries, they don't do it alone. Where are we today? And the perspectives we see on EACOP, It's the same with the oil fields, because EACOP is a transport system. It would be meaningless to have a pipeline that has no resource to transport. So where we are with EACOP is the same level that we have reached with the oil fields. So all the pipes required to build the EACOP have already been delivered through the port of Dar es Salaam. We are building a 1,443 kilometers long pipeline. This is a lot of pipe. Now, if you don't have even one piece, then you don't have a pipeline. So we are very proud that all the pipes have come through the port. Now, of course, that's an import, because we don't make pipes for this kind of operation. That's an importation. Then when we talk about welding, just to give you a perspective where we are, over 1,000 kilometers of pipeline has been welded already. Now beyond that, when you're welding, then you have joints. All these joints must be coated, because the pipeline we're building is an insulated system. So it's like a long flask. Insulated because of the type of oil we are dealing with. It's waxy and it's heavy. Now those are petrochemical ones. Our oil will solidify at room temperature. If you bring the oil in its liquid form, you put it here, in a short moment it will be like shoe polish. We should have brought you samples so that you see. They're like shoe polish. So we'll be transporting this oil at a temperature above 50 degrees Celsius. Now to keep that heat energy, you have to create a flask. Just as you know, your flask, when you touch it, it doesn't feel hot until you get inside and you realize that you are keeping heat energy inside the flasks. So that's the meaning of insulation. So it's not rocket science. Then, so we have to coat the joints and insulate them. We have already started lowering the pipe into the trench. This pipeline is buried. And to bury the pipe, you have to dig a trench. We are talking about 1,443 kilometers of trenching. And that is done by equipment. It's not the Juakali style of Uganda. You're digging a trench by people. So we are using equipment. All these equipments have been brought in for that work, and they will return once the work is completed. To heat the pipe, we need energy, so we are laying a high voltage cable system. We also have a communication system, the SCADA, where we shall be building control systems. This is a very intelligent pipeline system. 2 control rooms, one in Uganda, one in Tanzania, operated from control rooms, so you can remotely operate the entire system without deploying humans. But because of the sensitivity of oil and gas, we have some few sites that are manned. We have only one manned site in Uganda during operation. So I'll try and be quick. These are some images of the work we are doing, because you might hear about construction and you're like, is it actually happening? So the pipes are being welded, the trenches are being dug. When we cross highways, we don't cut highways. We use the available auger boring technologies. We start from one side, we show up on the other side. Traffic continues like nothing happened. These are images of what we call above ground installations, where we have pump stations. We have 2 pump stations in Uganda, 2 pump stations in Tanzania, 4 in Tanzania, and also 2 pressure reduction stations. When you're approaching the sea, those who have been to the coastlines, you will start experiencing gradients that take you to ground sea level 0. And when the fluid is flowing towards level 0, it will gain momentum. And if that energy lands into a tank without control, the tank would burst. So you have to reduce the pressure. So basically, it's like brakes. You have to reduce the rate at which this liquid is flowing. So most of the works are in Tanzania, but the pipeline will transport oil from Uganda. And for us, that's the most important bit. When you arrive at the port, you need a storage terminal. So we are building a marine storage terminal. Marine means near the water. So there is a terminal for storage. Has a lot of piping systems. We have storage tanks and a jetty, because the vessels that come to load oil, they are big, they are deep. You need a depth of at least 17 meters water depth. And so you don't want the vessel to reach the coastline. That's why we build a jetty over 2.3 kilometers into the ocean. So all these things are ongoing. Everything is on schedule. These are some of the images of the tanks. We have 4 tanks, each one 2.5 million barrels. A barrel is 159 liters. So each tank is 2.5 million barrels. So tank A, 85% done, B, 84%. So this is just to tell you how quickly work is happening. The strategy is that by end of July next year, technically we should be completed in terms of building ECOP, and then we do the final tests to verify that every equipment is okay. We load the system, we test the hydraulics and ensure that we don't have any problems in the system. So the jetty is almost done, the tanks 20% to go, and then we'll be there. Now, but all these things, all that is engineering. When it comes to investments, how equitable are these investments? And that's the main subject of today's discussion. Yes, we needed to compensate people so that to access their land. That has been done. We committed to employ Ugandans. I'll show you numbers. And participation of local companies, I'll show you numbers. They are very, very amazing. But beyond that, we were reminded by someone that in terms of responsible investments, people will always want to and will be able to find out about the citizenship of a brand. These days, brands must have a citizenship in terms of responsibility and caring for people, for community, and for the environment. They will be able to find out whether we are doing the right things socially, economically, and environmentally. And that's what I want to summarize for you now. In terms of national content, and I'm speaking about Uganda only, in terms of labor, we have 2,680 workers in Uganda. Out of these, 88% are Ugandans. There's a lot of capacity building. We are monitored by the Petroleum Authority to verify that the commitments we made on training is being done. We have over 82 interns, and we have sent many of them to different countries, whether it's Italy, where we are getting all the materials, there's commitment to train. Italy, Spain, France, UK, India. We have children who are picking from universities and they just show up in these countries. They come back very different, and we commit to employ those that we can take on. Training, 180,000 hours and going. Goods and services, over $142 million have been spent locally. And we are still in the middle of the project. These numbers already exceed what we committed to in terms of national content. The companies we are working with, the list was so long, so we just used their logos. And could not finish all of them, so we just stopped. But you will see names you know. You will see Power Engineering, Excel Construction, Epsilon, hotels I cannot read of them. We have universities, Makere University, UPIC, Chambogo University. We have many, Montrose, ICS Engineering, QSOC. There are very many. Some of them are not here. Basically, this is emphasis to tell you that this work is being done by Ugandans to the extent that what can be done, what can be supplied is available. We only go beyond the border for things that are not available, like pipes I told you. And of course the pumps, and then the expertise, because this is the first time we are doing these things in Uganda. So we had to bring expertise from all over the world. You can find any nationality you mentioned on these oil and gas projects. A quick example on food. ECOP, we need over 1.5 million kilos broken down into different things. This food is Ugandan. It's grown in Uganda, supplied by Ugandan farmers. As I speak, we have engagements going on with farmers to ensure that food is supplied to workers. So just to emphasize that things are happening at different levels. Then beyond all the things of responsibility, what we mentioned as the brand of the citizenship of a brand, we are doing a number of things under socio-economic investments. I am very proud that one of the partners we have in socio-economic investments as ECOP is Rotary. Recently, I had another honor to take a photo with the governor. And the governor is in the house. I'm not a very, very lucky man. We are working with you. I'll highlight a few things. But we are focusing on 5 pillars, future generations in terms of youth empowerment, water solutions. We are passing through some districts that are water stressed, including Zimbabwe and the neighboring districts. Community health and safety, sustainable energy, and of course, the environment. So these are the 5 pillars that are guiding our process of acquiring citizenship as a brand. Flagship projects. Recently, I had another honor to take a photo with the Prime Minister of Uganda Kingdom. This project has done me wonders. We are working with 2 kingdoms because ECOP goes through 2 kingdoms, Buganda and Bunyoro. So in Uganda, we are partnering with the kingdom to build a sports facility. We will do the phase 1, make the facility operational, but there are things we will not be able to do. A stadium costs a lot of money, so we agreed on a phased approach. The phase we shall complete will allow the pitch to be used, people to watch sports, and also have other facilities required. Then they want to add many other things, so that is a full-fledged stadium. In the Bunyoro Kingdom, we are working on a maternal health facility, Health Center 2. We are upgrading that facility to Health Center 3 because the statistics they have is that mothers are being lost, and of course that means the children, the babies, because of the distance they are traveling to reach maternal health care facilities. So we are stepping in to upgrade the Health Center 2 to Health Center 3. Now these projects will be commencing very, very soon because the memoranda with the Uganda Kingdom is already done, and the one with the Bunyoro Kingdom should be done in about 2 weeks from now. Why is ECOP not in Kampala? Somebody asked me. Because it is where it is, on many factors that you consider. If you bring a pipeline to Kampala, you'll never build it. Because compensation will be impossible. And also, there's another element. The most economic pipeline is a straight line, but you'll never see a straight pipeline because of constraints. Social issues, environment issues, the terrain. You're not going to climb a hill just because you want a short pipeline. If you climb a hill, you need more pumping stations. A pump station is very expensive, and so it's not economic. So that's why you see a pipeline. It's bending not because it should. There are constraints. You meet a city, you meet a town, you meet a community. You have to avoid all those and other environmental factors. So in these areas, it's just to highlight that we are doing socio-economic investments along the entire pipeline system. And this is the same thing we are doing in Tanzania. Different colors just to show you that we are doing everything. We are doing under the 5 pillars I mentioned. And we'll ensure that this is basically a project that the communities accept. And that's the social license we are working to achieve. This slide is to show you that it's the same thing. Tanzania, and we promised the governor here, and also his colleague, the governor who also controls District 92, the one that includes Tanzania. We committed that we'll be going to Tanzania and integrate the activities we're doing in Uganda in terms of green schools to also ensure that we have it in Tanzania so that we have an integrated partnership with Rotary for the 2 districts. This was a summary of the things we are doing under the 5 pillars. Future generations, the first quick win was to ensure that our baby girls we found along the pipeline, there are many who were dropping out of school because of sanitary pads. So we got a partner, Malaika, to distribute reusable sanitary pads, and you can't believe the impact that created in all the districts where we are passing. It was phenomenal. We are also doing a lot of training, skilling, anything you can talk about, hairdressing, mechanics, driving, catering, skills that quickly impact the youth and keep them employable. Water solutions, I mentioned, we are working to ensure that the communities we meet, they are not water stressed as we found them. Health and safety, I already talked about Bunyoro Kingdom, but we are also investing in road safety to ensure that where we are operating, we positively impact the statistics on road safety. Sustainable energy, we are going to do this with you under the Green Schools Initiative. Environment, we also have part of it with you. But we are doing a bigger project on tree planting. We are working with the Catholic Church, with the kingdoms. They have given us land. We have a lot of tree planting activities ongoing as we speak. Over 68,000 trees have already been planted. This is a picture of some of the positives we have made. At one of the institutes, the Mummies Institute in Masaka, that's where we are training most of the ladies in hairdressing, in tailoring, many things. Then we found that the facilities they have for hygiene were in a very sorry state. So we actually built them facilities to ensure that our girls, when they go there, they are not exposed to health risks. So we had to build the facilities for them. The tanks, you can see the images we have built. Now these tanks, we have done many boreholes and trained locals in maintaining them, working with local government. But there are areas we found challenges. You drill and you can't get water. So we had to build the tanks for communities to ensure that they can harvest the rainwater. So partnerships, we have many partners. The emphasis here is on Rotary. We are doing the Green Schools Initiative with you. And under that theme, we have sustainable energy, environmental conservation, water provision, waste management, and the green clubs in schools. In every district, we are going to pick at least one school, at least, to ensure that we start training our young people in ensuring that the world, the country, and their communities are indeed protected from the vices we see. It's important that as Rotarians, you're already doing many things. You are helping the country on waste management, but you always see our behavior out there as mature people. It is important that we start training our youth in proper behaviors. How do you actually dispose waste? Why is a tree important? All those things. And then we also want to establish green gardens in those schools. And this is my memorable picture with the 2 governors, actually 3. Maybe I should aspire to be a governor as well. So I wanted to end at that note that we are very committed to socioeconomic investments, and as a brand, we are doing whatever we need to do and more to ensure that we have a citizenship of the ECOP brand. We thank you very much, and we look forward to doing much more with you. Thank you.